I started working security for my first job after getting my criminal justice degree. I thought being a security officer, I would meet and encounter people I would be proud to say I saved the day. Well, the job was far from my imagination. I spent countless hours staring at gates and surveillance cameras. The job was boring. I'd check in and out cars and people. The nights were long, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I was a contract security officer. I would be at multiple sites throughout the months. Sometimes I'll be at 7 different sites in a month. Some months I'd work 2 days here and 3 days somewhere else. It's like I was being rotated around. Being at different sites did help with the time. Boredom does set in quick when everyone is asleep and you're basically watching an abandoned site for the night. One evening I got a call from my boss. She told me she needed some help at a building downtown. The job site is a 15-minute drive from my house, so I happily agreed to work that night. I got there a little early since it's my first time at the site. A tired-looking security officer greeted me when I pulled up. His uniform wasn't pressed. His beard was not shaved, or rather cleaned. This guy didn't look like someone you would expect to chase after anyone. But hey, we are security. We just need to call the cops if anything happens. The security officer showed me around the building. It was massive. A lot of the building was being renovated around that immediate area. Many of the lights didn't work in the building I were to watch. The only light that worked were at the very front where I were to be stationed. A single bulb lighted a small part of the front entrance lobby. The first floor had multiple long hallways and room. Walking to the second floor, I noticed what looked like a wooden elevator. Once the steps reached the second floor, it led to a huge cafeteria. The cafeteria looked like a high school-style cafeteria, except it had metal stools and tables like a prison. What I thought was cool were all the windows that lead to the outside around the cafeteria. The windows ran all the way the backside of the cafeteria. Upstairs essentially was only the cafeteria. The officer on duty and I walked back downstairs to the front, and he told me since I'm here, he's going to leave. Before he left, he said, "Just do what you think will make you last the night. This place gets creepy at night. The metal pipes in the cafeteria makes a lot of noises at night. The back of the building has a lot of homeless people that walks through. This is a heads up. This place gives me the chills." Well, I be damn. My first cool job site. By the time the sun went down, the place had turned my feeling just as dark. With a small flashlight, the hallways gave me an airy feeling. By midnight, I wasn't entering them rooms by the hallways anymore. Heck, a lot of the rounds I made, I didn't even want to flash my lights down the hallways. It's 2 a.m. I'm making my rounds to the cafeteria. A loud bang startled me. It was the pipes. Then, suddenly I saw a figure from the back of the cafeteria. The figure was walking outside the back cafeteria. It walked slowly with a limp. I shined my flashlight and the figure crouched down. I start jogging to the end of the cafeteria to see where the guy I just saw go, and there he was. He was outside the cafeteria crouching under the window, but I was on the inside. He had his back turned against me. I yelled out, "You're trespassing." He didn't budge. I told him to stay still and I'm coming to him. The entrance to the back made me lose sight of the guy. When I got outside to where he was crouched at, he was no longer there. Flashing my light around, I noticed him inside the cafeteria. I yelled at him once more and ran inside. The guy was nowhere to be seen. At this point, I made my rounds thoroughly and thought to myself, if he's gone, there is no need to call the cops. I'll write this down in my notes and let the relieving officer know. The weirdest thing about the night was the cafeteria. The pipe noise occurred through the night. The guy walking behind the cafeteria still walked behind the cafeteria's window. Since I saw him so many times that night, I could see that a fog seemed to follow him. With the guy walking so slow, I don't know why I could never catch up to him. He didn't look scary or anything. He was dressed in what looked like a burgundy sweater and patches of black stitching sewed where there were tears. He had on a black beanie and his hair, probably black because I can see black curly hair on his shoulder. His pants, I guess, black. It seemed blurry to me. I couldn't see clearly if he even had feet or shoes on. Maybe there are multiple homeless people messing with me? Would they be dressing the same though? My confidence was disappearing. My mind started playing Ghostbusters with me. By 4 a.m., I was barely making any rounds. I'm supposed to be making rounds every 15 minutes. It turned to 1 hour wait each round. I stayed where the lights hit my boots. I did a few rounds later on the night. Power walking. My eyes were concentrated on the next door leading out of each rooms. With each sound the building made, I walked a little quicker. Of course, I didn't see anything the rest of the night. My eyes weren't wandering much. The last few hours of night, the guy didn't come back. The banging stopped when the sun came up. At this point, I could hear people murmuring from the second floor. I didn't care to check. My time to leave was getting near. It's almost as if there's a crowd gathered upstairs. 7 a.m. came. The same officer came back to relieve me. I told him about the homeless-looking guy that kept roaming around the back. The security officer laughed. Many of us have seen the entity. We don't know why he wanders the cafeteria and the back part of the building. He doesn't do anything, but he's not a living being. Listening to what he just told me, I couldn't believe he was so calm about the whole ordeal. The security officer said he'd been at the site since day one or renovating the building. The building used to be a rehab center. Currently, it's supposed to be renovated for law enforcement training. I worked only one night there. I'm glad I did. It gave me an insight of what security has to go through. To me, it seems like security would likely see paranormal activities since we surveillance areas where not much human activities occur. Especially when all the employees leave, we are the only one left on site. I don't know if what I was told was the truth. Was the guy I saw just some homeless person? But at another thought, why couldn't I chase him down? I would never know the answer since I didn't work the site again. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't I call the cops or my boss? I was young and ambitious. Making a call about something I couldn't control was out of the question at the time. I wanted to be a strong character. It would have been a hard hit on how people would perceive me. At least that's how I felt at the time. It is true about old buildings making noises. The quietness of the night seems to bring out the pings and bangs of old buildings. I have worked multiple old buildings since this incident. I got used to the sound. Old buildings really do make sounds. I don't investigate everything anymore. If something feels wrong or supernatural, I would leave it alone. My gut instinct keeps me out of harm's way. Call me a coward. I'm still here. I'm still staying, shivering.